Hello, VIPKid Mom here to talk about feedback, all about feedback today. So we're going to get into how you prepare your feedback, how you write your feedback, and parent feedback that is given to you. So first off, welcome to October. It is Chinese Independence Week, basically, so it's a very slow week for me on VIPKid, and I am about to start classes soon, but had some time to talk to you guys. So the first thing is preparing your classes for feedback. And again, teacher Tina made an awesome video, which we will put down below, for some tips that help you get more prepared for every class beforehand. There's not a lot of time that needs to go into this, but I learned a lot from that video, especially how the lessons are coded. So I'm going to put what I use as my feedback notes as I'm taking notes during class. And this has been revamped quite a few times for me as I've gained more students and had students with repeat names and all kind of things. So I think this is what's going to work for me the best, and I hope that you benefit from it as well. So here we have what my notebook looks like, but a lot nicer because it's typed up. Time, GS, name, lesson, notes, reward, FB, e-card. What the heck does all that mean? Okay, so I made an example, two examples actually. Time is obviously important because you want to go in order, and I've also been a stickler about putting my dates because sometimes a kid will book you months later after their first class with you, and it says they're not new, they're old, but you don't remember them. So you can go back and find out, the notes you wrote or what you did or what reward you had, because I don't really leave that in my feedback online. But anyways, time and order. This really helps when you have a lot back to back, which is the goal for most of us. So you're not worried about who am I going to be talking to or what are they doing. You have everything you need. It just calms me down. It helps me feel better about everything, especially the rewards, because you have to take down and set up whatever reward system. I use my backdrop so they can see it as much as possible. I like to do that unless it's on the phone. So GS stands for Google Slides, and it's either a check or not a check. And that means on Google Slides, which will be another video, am I using the props? That's just for props. Am I using Google Slides props or not? Right now, I don't have a tablet. I just have my phone. So I don't have the ability to do Google Slides props and extensions or rewards at the same time, which is it's fine. I can totally live with it. But I obviously love Google Slides. It's the best. I use it a lot more for props than I do rewards. I'm certified to teach in all levels 2 through 5, but it helps when they're either new and you don't know if what they know, or they're a younger level, which is what most of your students will be. So especially with that new vocab that you don't have that random prop for, like intersection or population, Google Slides, it's amazing. So for our first example, it's 7:30 in the morning. We are going to use Google Slides, and name is obvious, Alice. I usually like to put if they're boy or girl, because sometimes the names are either in Chinese or you can't tell, and then their age so that you can kind of feel like how you should adjust your mannerisms, your tone, and everything. You don't want to talk down to a 12 or 14-year-old. And then the N stands for new. There's more Alice's and Amy's that I can count, so I like to keep them separate. This is a new Alice. It's not going to be the one that you're used to. And The lesson, again, the lesson codes you can find on that link to the video, but it tells you what level they're on and which lesson they're at. The most important numbers, I would say, are the first and the last. So the first tells you what level they're on. It's the big levels, and that can pretty much gauge how independent they are. If they're a 2, they may not be able to extend with you as much. And if they're a 4 or 5, you know that you're going to have to be looking at thinking of some ideas of how to extend that lesson with them, extend that conversation, or maybe even extend with some phonics or something. And then the last number is important because if it's a 5, 6, or 11, you're going to have a project slide where you talk about the project that's due on lesson 12. So I like to write project just to remind myself that I need to make room, or at least try to, so that I can have time to go over that project at least a little bit. Again, most of the time kids don't bring the project, but it's still important to go over it. 6 and 12 are your assessments, your unit assessments. 6 is, I guess, not as important of an assessment as 12, because 12 is the only one with a presentation with a project. But 6 and 12 are easy for rewards because I use my map. I got this on a link, and I can put it down below, but it's a game map. It looks just like the one on the test, and this one even has a level 6. It was very difficult to find one that didn't have pictures on it and one that had a level 6. Level 6 is usually for the 12th lesson, because level 1 is going to be your presentation, so that's when they add level 6. And what I'll do is I have these magnets, really cheap magnets, that are shapes and colors. So I'll ask them for their favorite color, and they say purple, and I was like, you get a purple star today, and I'll put it behind me. And usually that's all that I do. I say, okay, let's begin, and then level 1, level 2, and that helps them track their progress as well. Sometimes I'll have another reward, but usually not, because you have so much to get through. And then, if it's a 6, a lesson 6, you usually have a project to get through as well. So I don't make a big deal out of it, but anyway, that's the lesson code. And either under the name of the lesson, which I haven't written there, I'll write maybe some props that I need, or what I need to write on the whiteboard as far as conjugating some verbs. It's all up to you. It's all whatever you want to do. Notes. So notes is a shorthand of whatever I write that helps trigger my memory to what I need to put on the actual online feedback to the parents. V equals W is a common one because of the Chinese language. They pronounce their W's like V's. Vent instead of went. Vile instead of while. It's almost as common as the TH. We'll get into that with a phonics video because these are amazing and they help a lot, these little sticks. But I just write down a few notes of what happened, usually what they missed, and if they're doing poorly, I'll put an X. Like, that means they needed to work on that more. And especially for trial classes, I'll put a check. Like, yes, they know their ABCs. Yes, they can count. Yes, they are good at grammar or using complete sentences or whatever. Q7, this again is for the unit assessment. So especially, even though you can now write or type while you're teaching on the feedback, and I do that with assessments, you can't type. You can just click the points. I mean, you can, but I don't have time. So I will write which question they got points off from, and a short little thing of why, maybe, if I have time. And you can always go back and check it out, but that just helps me understand where I'm going and where they missed it, and to double check that I I explained all the reasons why they missed points because that's very important. So question 7, they gave me a one-word answer instead of a complete sentence, and you do get points off for that based on the rubric. Again, the reward system, it's just a little tab to help you figure out what rewards you need. And I'm going to have a bunch of rewards videos, but I like to keep my rewards as tailored to the lesson as possible. For the emotions one, I like to use faces, and for the pre-VIP or the level 1 trials, I like to use things that are associated with those trials. So for one, I end up repeating that reward with them less because I don't want to get a bad review from saying, okay, this teacher uses the same reward system. And it's hard to keep up track when you've had all of these returned students, especially regulars. So I like to have my reward tailored to the lesson, and I like to have it written out to see, do I need to look up a Google Slides reward, or which one do I need to pull out and be ready to put on my backdrop. And then the last one, I think I added, these are just 2 columns big enough for a check mark. The FB is for feedback. So I don't do my feedback in between classes. It's too stressful for me. I do it after I'm done with all of them. So as I'm going through, I will check off that I have written and submitted the feedback. And then the e-card, I really try to make sure I send an e-card after every class, even if I've had them 10 times. Good job, keep up the good work. Something that we talked about in class on a personal note, if that's possible, just to get that rapport and hopefully have them return to me. So that's just a check that I've like a to-do list. I've done that thing. So before we go, let's look at Henry. 8 o'clock. He is an O, so that means he's old. I've had him before, even though I've had a bunch of Henrys. He's a boy, and he is 9. And he's a level 2, and he is on the first lesson of Unit 8. So that means he's never seen any of this before, and that's important as well because it's up to you to introduce this brand new stuff to him. Even though most lessons have new stuff, this is a completely different topic. You can congratulate him. Yay! Congratulations for making it to Unit 8. You did a great job. His notes would be, again, the Chinese language, they don't have plurals. I'm pretty sure they just have singulars of their verbs and nouns. So a lot of times students get confused with if I add an S or not, and it's very difficult. Like pants, is a plural. Shorts usually is a plural. They're plurals. So I'll write in quotations. That's usually a thing that he said that's wrong. And then they confuse have and has a lot. I mean, they're just precious little babies learning. So I'll write down whatever I need to either tell the next teacher or say, practice this at home for the online feedback. And then his rewards, a GS, again, is Google Slides. So I like to look up the lesson number, 2811, on the Google Slides, and then go to that suggested reward. Sometimes they're okay, sometimes they're not what I want. I mean, they're all okay, but sometimes it's not what I want to do. But this lesson is about colors, and then this reward was find a star, and it was fruit colors. So you clicked on a number, and it was the different fruits and their gifts, and they're all acting silly and have different colors, and you can talk about how silly they are and what color they are and if you like them, and all kind of extension with that. And I have, according to my notes, written both feedbacks for these 2 students, but no e-cards yet. I usually don't do feedback e-card. I usually do all feedback or all e-card unless my computer's running slow and I can multitask, which is difficult at this time of the day. But that is my feedback. It's tweaked a lot, but it seems to work very well. It's not the most detailed but it is enough for me to know what I'm doing. This is a long video, so I'm going to make another video about feedback that you write and feedback from parents. So I will see you next time. Thanks for staying with me on this one, and I hope this helps. Bye.